Hello everybody, this is Julie. I am happy to introduce you 13 years old gelding Rebbe. As you know, I was not riding until May, actually until September, until because my second baby girl was born in May. So I then start searching for a horse I could work with, and Rebbe is the one. He's looking like a rectangle. He's not very tall, but he's pretty long horse, and unfortunately he was working very badly last years, so his back is really sunk. On the first videos I am riding him just to find out how is he, what is he like, what does she need, what does he needs. The problem is that the owners didn't wanted me to work him as Art2Ride. He just wanted somebody to ride him. So first I started to ride him, although I would actually like to work in hand with him and lunch him first. But I needed to start somehow with the owners and give them the opinion later on, and when I got their trust, to really persuade them, look, it is needed. This is needed and we shall start working differently with your horse. On the first video you can see that he's moving pretty nicely, but he cannot stretch himself, and he does not really understeps that much, although his steps looks good on the first point of view, but on the second he really does not run over his back. He's also rotating his hind legs when walking. This is like first the riding attempts when I am trying if he can stretch. How does he react on the stretching? You can see that he's actually willing to stretch. He enjoys the stretch, but of course there are no basements done with lunging and work on hand because they didn't want me to do that. They wanted me to ride, so I needed to start somehow. So I made a shortcut of few months. I worked with him October till January on different bases. So this is one of the first lessons. I'm trying to show you this is the stretch, this is where I want you to be, and I try to really give him ads that he's walking with the hind legs that they are activated. You can see that the first attempts to stretch are there, but of course he's not really consistent down there. The problem was also that I was riding and working him twice a week, and the rest of the weeks was the owner working him absolutely different way than I did. I just they I just couldn't tell them, look, you shall work like this, because I was not hired as a trainer. I was actually hired somebody to walk the horse a little bit, and it was not any problems they wanted to solve. They didn't see any problem actually. The only problem was they didn't have that much time to come. So it was really difficult situation where I did something for 2 days a week, and the other days the horse was worked differently. So I was like all the time starting with the same horses before, but I hope that at least I could have taught him something. You can see that after some first ridings, after some losing ups, he enjoys and is coming down to the stretch, especially here. He's searching the connection down there. I was really struggling with getting him on a connection. He tried to stretch, but I didn't have him on a good connection that I really would feel his back coming up. You can always see that he's very inconsistent. He's maybe a bit over the tempo, but I had a big issue that he didn't want it to move. So in walk, I had a big issues. He didn't walk at all, and his back and belly were really hanging down, as you could see on the first pictures. So here he's loosen up a little bit, but of course it does not look on a deep, nice, consistent stretch. So this is really one of the first ridings. But now you could see the transition was getting better, and he managed to stay down, and you can see he's now searching the stretch. My hands now are way too low, and I'm also a little bit in too much front position with my body. I should be sitting more straight so that I don't take him out of the balance, as I am very tall. So it is important that I sit always really straight. This is the end of lesson, and you can see that he is now really consistent. He enjoys the stretch, and he is also staying when doing the transitions in the stretch. I try to trot always a little bit and then went down to walk, because I had big issue to activate his hind legs in walk, and he needed to loosen up a little bit in trot so that I could really continue good walk work. Sometimes I needed to help myself this way. You can see that he's really stretching nicely, and he's starting to step more under his belly. This is working on hand. I always try to work him on hand before starting the lesson to warm up, and after starting the lesson, so that when he was tired after the lesson, I really didn't want it to sit on him again, um, and I tried to work from work in hand. He is not reacting badly, but usually at the beginning of the lesson I had big issues really of pushing him forward, because he didn't want it to step under his belly with the hind legs at all and to activate them. So I really had big issues to work him in hand. So I really felt that I really need to start lunging. Of course, it was done the other way around, but I unfortunately couldn't do that because the owners were not familiar with the methods, although I tried to show them. But they wanted me to ride the horse. So I tried to make the best from what I could do with him. So I was working hand always, so at the beginning and at the end of the lesson. So you can see that the hind legs are not stepping under the belly well. He's pretty rusty in the hind legs. You don't see the really wave coming through the horse. It is like two pieces not cooperating together really as one wave. I'll try to activate the hind leg a little bit more, that he's understepping. And he tried, but it was not really uh, good. This is some weeks later with a little bit deeper stretch, but again, as I said already before, the owners in between rode him the old upside down way, so it was always like starting from the scratch. So I tried, but it was really difficult to make some consistent work and to really teach him stay in stretch and get up with your back and search for a connection, because all the time uh, he was reading the other way around. Now on the video you can see that my connection is also not very good. I tried to send him down with the long rails, but he was really not searching on his own for the connection. But this is actually coming in the next stage. Firstly, I needed him to understand that he can stretch and he can really lift up his back. And you can see that slowly he is starting really to stretch down and to understand that he can go down because nobody is holding him up, and his neck and head are released. With combination with this, I really try to activate his hind legs so that he does not, so that he uses his hind leg correctly and does not leave the back behind, let's say. You can see that also in the transition he's of course coming up because it is difficult for him. But when he again settles in his position, then it goes back. But here you can see it's not really consistent again. It's the same issue with all up and downs. Now some pictures coming. You see the position of my hand is too low, but the horse is searching for stretch. This is again the top line. You can see not many muscles and really a huge problem in the back. Now finally, after 2 months working with him, I managed to uh, talk to the owners in that way that he really needs to be launched, and I really started to work with Chambon, and as I wanted, because I didn't want it to ride him without this lunging work. So you can see that he's not willing to go forward. I had issues in the walk to really let him step down. This is what I said already. And the walk is not really in the nice way it should have been. This is just a little bit pictures like from a stretch by hiking outside. This he really enjoyed also. This is, I left it inside because this is when the owners came and they wanted me to gallop him. And I actually didn't gallop him at all because I knew that he's not ready for galloping. Here you can see I really tried some stretch in the gallop and he was pretty much stretching, but this is not what really the owners wanted to see. So I tried to show them, look, when I collect him, he is not really managing it and he is going really down with the back. And now I again try to release him, and I this is also a picture of how I try how he's stretching, and now you see that the top line is really deeper than before, and this is what I try to show the owners. Look, if you want me to gallop him, it's not gonna work because actually he is not ready for that, and it does not it's only hurting him more and it does not help the top line. So I really went back to working him on Chambon, and you see with the prolonging, when I'm running a little bit with him, the back is started to swing a little bit, and but he's, when you see, he's not stepping under, he's really slowing down, and he was not willing to go forward at also at the lunge. So I really needed to push him every step so that he activates his hind legs. When I was running with him on the long side on the straight line, he was getting actually better, and he was really a bit stepping under. You can see now the walk is as I would like, the trot is as I would like to see that all the time. Now he's going down to the stretch a little bit and then walk. Yeah, and this is again the top line. I always try to give you. Actually, there was no change for these 3 months, but I know it's long-term um, issue, but I wanted you always to have a look in between also on the top line, and I try to really document it the whole weeks ahead. This is again some weeks later, working him, but as said again, I couldn't just do consistent all the work, so I at least try to teach him how to stretch, how to help himself with the back when trotting, and in trot I could really activate better his back because the back was swinging a little bit. In the walk he was so unwilling to walk that I had just a feeling that I am sitting on his slow back and the back is going lower and lower and I just cannot change it. So it was really frustrating for me to ride him, to be honest. But I tried at least to help him. And you can see that here is the walk a little bit better, and he's really searching for a deeper stretch as at the beginning, and he's understanding the idea of stretch. This is again the top line, not really big change. This is, you see, when I was lunging with the shambo, and you see how the back is really deep. So I really try to work him in the shambo, but you see that his steps are really short. When, especially when I was filming, because I didn't have the whip to activate the hind legs, and he didn't. He refused any work forward. So that was really big issue with this horse, and I couldn't really change his feeding because the owners would maybe fell off, and I couldn't organize the physiotherapist because I wanted him to really to loosen up, and the physio didn't come in these few months, and it was really frustrating, honestly, because I was sure that he's not unblocked, and then I could really work him as I would like to. So this horse, I think, shouldn't be ridden at all. Which is not really consistent with the idea of the owners that they ride him weekly, and unfortunately upside down. I was hoping that the physiotherapists will tell them as as another opinion also that it is not a good idea to ride this horse. But as it didn't come yet, it is a little bit frustrating situation. But you can see that when he uh, is a little bit loosen in the throat and when on the shambon, he started to swinging over the back, and I'm sure that if the work was consistent, he would really come back with his back. You can also see that the muscles on the hind legs are really working like now at the moment, so you can really see the moving muscle, and this is what we want to see, that this is activated. So here is some more work in hand, and this is actually after a few months of working, and you can see that he's not consistent in the stretch at all, unfortunately, because this is not what he was really taught all the time, because it was really again me working Art2Ride and then somebody else riding upside down. So unfortunately the consistent stretch could in fact be achieved. You can see that the hind legs are still rotating, uh, although I was expecting uh, more change due to better muscles, but the hind legs are really still rotating out as it was in the first weeks. So it is really long distance run, and this horse has still long journey, and also the owners to understand that they should really work with him differently. Otherwise he will not last for long with his back. So I have now changed the hand, and I am running too much in front. I had to always push him with the whip on the back so that he really makes at least some better movement, because that was really big issue. These are only just basics in work in hand, as we couldn't move more forward in the in the Art2Ride education. Here you can also see how is he when in a frozen arena without any shampoo or anything. He's searching for the stage. He enjoys it. And he's pretty much understepping, but it is really like a slowed movie. He doesn't want to walk on. Also, the movement in the trot is really very short. You see that he's not really much swinging in the back, although it's better, at least better how as it was, but it's not exactly how it shall look like. Also, the movement is pretty much short. This is actually the last part of my video. I hope you have also enjoyed it because I try to show you it's not always easy, and it is difficult if it is the training not consistent and everybody is doing the same way. But at least I tried really to help him and to show to the owners what is needed with riding or working this horse.